What's going on, y'all? This is Alex Quin, and you're listening to the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast. Today we have Olivia Ormos, founder of Mavn. What's up, Olivia?
What's up, everybody?
This is not your first time.
This is my second time.
Yeah, this is your second time. Thanks for being on. I think it's been like 2 years.
Probably.
Oh my God, you've done so much in the last 2 years.
Yeah, well, it's great to be back. This is my favorite podcast.
Oh my God, you're incredible. Thank you so much. We actually talked about you in a few of the last episodes with James Preventure and Kevin Pimentel. So, you're mentioned often in this thing.
I like that.
Yeah, everybody shows you love over here.
I like that a lot.
So tell me, Mavn,
Yes.
This is what we're here for today.
Yes.
This has been one of your projects, I believe, now for almost like 8 months, a little bit more.
About a year now.
About a year
since
now?
Start of development, yes.
So what's up with Mavn? What is Mavn?
So Mavn is a new double-sided luxury marketplace that connects brands to influencers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's crazy because people are always like, "Oh, like that's been done before. Like haven't people done that before?"
Right.
But we went about it and building the platform in a way different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at it from pain points that existed in my everyday life operating in the influencer marketing space.
Through your agency, yeah.
Through our agency, exactly. So it was like looking at the pain points that came from what agencies dealt with every day, looking at the pain points of what brands dealt with every day, and then of course our influencers, our creators that are really driving this economy and what everybody was suffering from. So it came from a point of how do we solve problems? How do we make this a less manual process
Right.
that everybody gets frustrated losing an extra 40 hours a week on a brand side, or an agency is upkeeping a database on an Excel sheet where they're trying to keep track of like moms and foodies and fitness and all these people. And it's like, where do you live? And do you have a manager? And then even if you got past upkeeping this database, and by the way, everybody has this problem, it's not just me,
Yeah.
is communication. Now you got to keep track of, oh, I emailed you the contract. I docu-signed this. I need you to send me, your W-9 for this. Oh, and I need you to send me a Dropbox link so that I could review your content before it goes up. So now you're like 5 different platforms in just to post a freaking post.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we really sought out to make this a solve for the industry, but at the same time, giving our creators a home by putting them in the driver's seat. And I think that's the biggest difference when people ask me, like, what's so different about Mavn? Like, isn't it just everybody connecting brands and opportunities? We do it in a way different way. So it's application only. Mm-hmm. The influencer has to go on the App Store, the Android Store, and apply. Yep. Once they apply, they're vetted. We really want people that are here to work. I want creators that are thriving and it's their full-time job and they're excited. And you don't need 1 million followers to be on Mavn. You literally could have 10,000, 8,000, 2,000. I'm looking for content creators. I'm looking for people that value the work that they're doing on behalf of themselves and brands.
Right. And I like the visual, like user-friendly aspect of it.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. You're on it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been really cool because you see the restaurants, you see the, dining experiences, you see brands want to connect with influencers, and the push notifications are awesome because it keeps you engaged.
Yep.
And I see that you guys are scaling pretty quick. There's a lot of brands on there.
Yeah. So we launched December of 22.
Okay. Yeah.
And very quickly by word of mouth, at this point, 6 months in, we've had over 2,000 influencers organically apply.
2,000.
2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not even sound like such a big number to me, but
it is a lot.
But I think what's awesome is the quality of the creators that have applied and the word of mouth.
Yeah.
And really, the creators that have been accepted are our army.
Yeah.
We haven't run one ad. I haven't even had a launch party, and it's amazing. I'm actually like seeing creators I never heard of before, which is so exciting that I'm being introduced to creatives that we didn't know prior to Mavn.
I think that the thing also why it's kind of been like in a way like very smooth and not so much friction is because you already have a name in the industry though. So you didn't have Mavn before, but you had Olivia and you had O & Co, which is your agency. So it's a nice like smooth transition in a way.
Yeah, and I thought of that as well. Like, the trust factor might be different than just a random platform like popping up where people might say, oh, this is Olivia's platform. And I think that only gets you so far.
Yeah. Right?
I think that I had to prove that like there's value in being on the platform with, like you said, the variety of categories of things that we're offering. So, it's dining where you can barter and go to restaurants that you've maybe never been to, or it's a special occasion. And it's very nice to have that option available. But you are seeing paid opportunities.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of other platforms don't really hone in on. And the biggest difference for us is we don't take any commissions from the creators, and we're not exclusive. So they can be on as many platforms as they want. I don't care.
Right.
So eventually Mavn will move into a subscription platform where there'll be different options and different access points for these creators to be able to lock in and dial in how they want. But I want to remain that we are not here to take commissions. We're not here to be your manager. We're not here to do
right,
that.
Which adds a lot more to the whole red tape aspect of what you were talking about before, having to deal with managers and communication and things being done on time. Exactly, you're a facilitator. You're not trying to take over everybody's career.
Yeah, we're a luxury marketplace.
Yeah,
that is really fluid. Even like the processes that we take are very. I look at my real life problems and the real life processes that we're doing in the influencer marketing space, and I say, okay, how can I automate this?
Right.
How can I make this easier on us, on the brand, on the influencer? How do we keep everything in one place? So that's like a big V2 update that we launched last week. Was instead of having to upload your content somewhere for approval, everything is done now in the app. So you're signing contracts in the app, you're getting paid on the app,
a lot better,
and you're uploading your content right there where you're getting feedback like, this music is off brand, or maybe this picture's a little too blurry, or whatever it is. And everything is in one place on the app. So you're not scrummaging through emails for feedback or addresses.
You get lost in text messages and group chats and
whatnot. And it's something that every PR agency, marketing, anybody who's tapped into influencers, it's the exact same process. All our market research, everybody, even out of market that does this work, we're all doing this work manually.
It's really cool that you built, in a way, the way I see it, right, is that you built a tool to be able to aid you in some of the pain points that you had as somebody in the industry.
Exactly.
I had somebody on the podcast last year. His name is Chris Cunningham. He's one of the founding members of ClickUp. And they built ClickUp with the same kind of situation where they needed a tool that did what they were looking for, and they couldn't find. I mean, there was a lot of them that do similar, but they didn't find the one with the right formula, and they did it themselves. So it's really cool to see you pull this off, because I've seen you work on influencer campaigns. I've seen work being done off spreadsheets. I've seen communications. I've seen the whole back and forth, successfully, of course. But now you've been able to bind it in a way that not only brings you immediate solutions for your agency in a way, but also for other people to be able to make money out of it as well.
For sure. And I think the idea was born out of creating a utility for the agency.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being just a go-to-market platform that needed to be not just for us.
So to dumb it down, I am an influencer. I have 2,000, 1,000, 10,000 followers. I want to be involved. Walk me through the customer journey.
Sure.
Okay, I am the influencer. I go on the app. I apply. What happens next? What's the process like?
Totally. So the app is available in the Apple Store, of course, and
the Google Play.
Yeah, we're in both. So the influencer will be prompted to apply. So they can apply as a Mavn member or a Mavn Plus member, of which both are currently free of charge. Okay. Eventually, that's where the subscription stuff will come in with more added value towards memberships. If you log in as a Mavn member, you simply just log in through a Meta API connected.
Easy.
We're not going through any weird third parties that have their data. Nothing is shared with us, like your password. Everything's super protected. Yeah. And the only thing we get out of that when you apply is like a confirmation you are who you say you are, like you actually applied.
Yeah.
We're getting, if you're verified or not, we're getting your number of followers and your name.
Makes it much easier too as well for you guys to vet and
because anybody could jump in and be like Alex Quin, and like it's not really you applying.
Yeah.
So there had to be a validation.
There's a few of those out there.
Yeah, there had to be a validation that like this was your accredited handle that you were applying on behalf of.
Right.
And then the second way is through also Meta, but via Facebook, where a lot of the paid opportunities, you're required to be Mavn Plus.
Okay.
So we have access to those insights on where your followers are, how old they are they male, are they female, everything from the back end that we don't have to ask you about.
Right.
So if it's pre-campaign vetting or post-campaign insights, we have all that, which just makes life so much easier than being like, hey, can you screenshot this to me? Can you send this to us? Like, how did this do? I need copies of your content. Like everything is there.
Yeah.
So we're encouraging Mavn Plus. So if somebody didn't feel comfortable from the jump applying Mavn Plus, like that was okay for us. So we wanted to make sure that like the comfort level was there, and then they could upgrade at any time.
Okay, beautiful.
In the app. So once you get accepted, let's call it best case scenario, you're in. We give you a questionnaire. That questionnaire ends up becoming your profile. So this questionnaire is everything that's on my Excel sheet. So it's like where you live, where your birthday, what size shoe you wear, what are your rates for Instagram, for TikTok, so forth.
Stories, feed,
everything's there. Uploading your W-9, the type of creator you are. Are you beauty? Are you wellness? Are you fitness? And then all that goes into our back end. So sometimes it's just easier for us to do sub-criteria searching when somebody comes to us with a very specific request. But from there, after you fill in your form, you're in. You're able to explore. And this is where I kind of really hone in on putting the creator in the driver's seat. So this is where the creator will be able to apply for opportunities.
Right.
So you'll see said restaurant or said paid opportunity, and you can literally go in. It's black and white. You can see what they're going to provide and what you have to provide. Yeah. And if it feels like something that's on brand for you, you literally hit apply. And that's it. And then from there, that's when Mavn gets that request, sees if it's a good fit for what the brand's requested. And then we do that like concierge work with the brand, and really liaisoning all those processes for them.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So the creator doesn't only have to apply for something, but it's the best way for them to be considered.
Oh, you will also reach out to creators you see are in the marketplace.
Yeah, someone says, hey, I'm really looking for this specifically. If maybe only 7 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever it might be, pop up that generate that type of specific result.
Right.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. Put it live for everybody to think it's available, and then only really pick one person that could have been maybe sought out differently.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the creator influencer aspect. Now,
correct.
How about a brand?
Yes.
Is it a very similar process?
Yes. So the way that it works for a brand is we do demos in the beginning when people want to see the platform. So we're like super open about showcasing how it works, the value that it's going to bring to them, the tech that they'll have access to essentially.
Right.
And then we onboard the business. We have a newly launched business platform. So it's a dashboard where all the businesses can log in and click approve or decline and see further information on those that are interested in collaborating with them.
Right.
And then they also have access to when that content is submitted to approve it. Everything goes in their dashboard. So it's just a way for the business to also remain organized on their campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very the front-facing system for the business is very important for it to be very easy for them to digest. That way it doesn't have to be a mumble jumble and they don't know what is all of this.
And I think the biggest thing I've learned too is like not every brand really even knows what's best, and that's okay, right? Like I don't know what's best for me, what medicine to take when I'm sick sometimes when you go to the doctor. Like that's what the doctor tells you to do.
Yep.
But I think in this case, like I really know that Mavn is the authority on really hand selecting what's best. Mm-hmm. And we can back it up with the data, and we can back it up with the history of these similar such campaigns that we've done to really say, you might want to work with these 10 people because they have 1 million followers and it sounds exciting, but these other 10 people will really generate an ROI, and this is why.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it just takes having a couple not so successful campaigns to better understand the landscape. And I think the other big mistake that happens is these creators are not given enough information to be empowered to do the job. Like I think some brands just say, like we're going to ship them the product and like
whatever,
have them do it.
Get comfortable.
And then afterwards they're
want.
like, yeah, we don't like this. And I'm like, well, did they get information from you?
Yeah, they're a brand ambassador in that point.
Yeah, do they know what did you send them inspiration? Did you send them any do's and don'ts? Did you send them information on like what you're hoping to do? Because maybe the purpose of the content is ads.
Yeah.
And maybe the purpose of the content is organic, or maybe it's to have a user-generated campaign that's much larger with other things. So I think these are the types of questions that Mavn really asks before launching a campaign for a brand.
Yeah, it's important because you see a lot of influencer stuff out there, and a lot of it is not genuine. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to call it the podcast because I'm not going to be an asshole. The other day I was reading, I was watching a podcast, and all of a sudden there's an ad that stops in the middle of the podcast, which is fine. That happens with podcasts. And it was the guy sitting looking at the camera with some products around him, and there was like a graphic at the bottom of the screen, and the guy's literally looking to the right, reading the script off the teleprompter as the camera in front of it is like, and you could tell he's reading the ad. Is like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I think I think that
that doesn't work.
Right there goes into like the authenticity, right? That the creator economy, I think the more authentic the approach is for the brand with the creator, the better. But there has to be like the fine line, right? So I'll give you an example. So if the creator's like, the brand approaches the creator and they're like, wow, like we love your content. You do such a great job. Like they're already acknowledging that they're selecting you because of XYZ that they like about you. And then they come in and they're like, now do this, this, and this. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You just told me you liked this about me.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to tell me to do this, this, and this
switch
now?
it up, yeah.
Yeah, or like, we need you to post at this time. And it's like, I'm telling you my performance is better at this time. So it's like knowing when to listen to the creator and knowing when to empower the creator, I think are two different things that people don't realize are two different things.
Yeah, that's what makes the job of the person managing the influencer marketing campaign difficult. And that's precisely one of the pain points that you're looking to help in, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, the future of the creator economy depends on authenticity because people are dependent on these influencers driving product and sales and hype and brand awareness and all that goes into being excited to work with influencers. But if it doesn't come off as authentic or there's no power of repetition that I know you know all about.
I was about to mention that.
Yeah.
Not just expecting results from one post.
There's no like wave my magic wand and like my website's going to have 10,000 new hits and we're going to gain 3,000 new followers just because somebody posted one time.
That's something that a lot of people get discouraged by, not just in influencer marketing, but in digital marketing in general as a whole.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I spend this money. It's like, yeah, but maybe you don't know your audience yet. So you're spending the money trying to figure it out. Right?
Yeah. And
you think you have an audience, but maybe it's another one.
Yeah. And I'm super pro like run a test. So if you're in between working like on a long-term basis with call it 6 influencers in different markets, I always say run a one-off and really see who captures the brand best, who comes to you excited with ideas, who really values the quality of the content they're creating on your behalf. And then evaluate before you commit to long-term relationships, because I do agree with you. The power of repetition is what's going to move the needle, but with the wrong person, it's not going to do shit. Yeah. So I think if you run this test and you're like, wow, like this person really, was challenging to work with, they didn't want to submit things when we asked them to, they missed a deadline. Like those things are all possible. Yeah. When you're starting out on new relationships. So I think you have to weed
and even
out.
in existing ones, like it's not an easy space.
Yeah.
Which is why this tool works and it's cool.
Yeah,
I've dealt with it. That's why exactly one of the reasons I, as a marketing agency, stopped working on influencer deals for a while. Yeah. It was just, it was a lot. It was a lot.
I mean, it is a lot. It's already a lot. That's why we're like, how do we not make this a lot? And I think the brand also has now like somebody that has their back, right? Where it's not like you're sitting there going like, oh, I got to follow up with this person 10 more times now, because they didn't post or they didn't turn this in. Or
so Mavn does that.
Mavn does that.
Right. So it's seamless for the brand. It's like, hey, here's the influencer. I picked it. Here are my guidelines. Help me make sure it goes out, and it goes out the way that I envisioned it to go out, not any other weird way.
Exactly. So I think at the same time, it's super important for the brand to be streamlined. It's also very important for the influencer to remain super organized. Yeah. So there's tools that we put on the influencer side that manages their opportunities and a flow of each one. They can look up their payments. They can go back and revisit their contracts and their deliverables. Like they're also they have no excuse to be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Right. And so there is a contract per gig, for lack of a better term.
For paid opportunities.
Per paid opportunity.
Yeah. On a barter, we didn't put the contract in. But we have a strike policy. So if you went to a restaurant, didn't post, you'd have a strike on your account. If you did it again, you're gone.
Yeah, no, that's not cool. That's not cool.
It happened for the first time this week.
It happened?
Yeah, one person, and I'm gonna give her the boot.
We're gonna put a picture of that person up on the screen now we're playing. No, but people gotta learn. You gotta be serious because you're vouching for them. You are vouching for them.
That's the other. That's like our biggest motto is like, are you here to work? Yeah. Are you here to BS or are you here to work? Are you here to really represent your brand? And one of the more interesting things that we did too was during Model Volleyball, I had Team Mavn, and
which is your business. Just to clarify for those who don't know, Model Volleyball is one of your other businesses.
Yeah. So we used Model Volleyball as like a fun, organic way to integrate Mavn. We had a beautiful setup, and
I loved it. The girls getting the paint.
Yeah, it was super cute setup. But Team Mavn was a group of 18 people that applied to be on the team.
Okay.
We held some practices for them ahead of time. So they were like a participating agency, like playing in the tournament.
Love it.
But
love the placement.
What was interesting was they're all best friends now.
So you create a community.
Yeah, and I know that Mavn is meant to be like very transactional and very opportunistic, and like that's cool. Like that's what we want to be. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was so great to see this emotional side of things.
So it doesn't have to stop there.
It doesn't have to stop there, and it didn't. And that was like really kind of like warming for me.
Yeah.
To see, some of these people that, maybe don't make friends as easily as some other people do. And this world is super competitive and not so much so welcoming.
Yeah, and especially in the influencer community, a lot of people may have a lot of followers, but maybe they're shy or
they're
I
think there's a lot of
extroverted.
Like social anxiety that goes into this industry that is super real. Like you're worried about your appearance 24/7. You're worried about your content, and if your livelihood depends on it, like all those things come into play.
Yeah.
So knowing that there's a community, a lot of the experiences that are things that more than one person gets to enjoy, and like all of the Mavn creators that are accepted to something get to meet each other, even on photo shoots, and then to later see them hanging out and tagging each other. That's been a nice surprise.
At the beginning of the podcast, we mentioned that I had James Preventure on here from Berries, and he talked about that, how he does extracurricular stuff. The people from his fitness community go to events together. They do this, they do that, and that's what building community and building culture around your brand is. What will solidify you in the industry and will create longevity. Otherwise, you're just transacting. You're just transacting. People don't feel connected.
And like I said, like we weren't trying to be like 10 other apps, right? Like we were just trying to like serve our purpose, grant opportunity, grant empowerment, and all those things, and like get people paid and give them access to things, which was great. Like that was enough for me.
Yeah.
And then to see an organic opportunity arise where their connections are being made was very special.
And okay, so you started Mavn when you first launched. It was Miami-based businesses or South Florida-based businesses only.
Well, it was our easiest way to make sure. Yeah, we tapped into the market that we were already operating in. So we launched with just Miami, South Florida-based opportunities.
But if I'm not wrong, you've expanded.
So for the most part, coming into summer, it was very important for us to think about how are we meeting our creators where they are. And majority of our creators travel.
Right.
So especially in these months. So we said, okay, we are going to look to offer limited but enough opportunities in the places that they're more than likely traveling to.
Right.
So we identified like 6 to 7 cities and countries and different places, worked on partnerships in those places, and we have pop-ups with offerings all over. So
I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
Because I know you, so I see these things happen. I'm like, oh, she's
we'll
great.
properly launch new markets in the fall.
Yeah.
But for summer, like I said, it was important. So we've got 2 restaurants in New York. We've got restaurants in London, in Mykonos, in Ibiza.
Yeah.
Live shows with DJs. Wow. Things that, especially like for me, like women, I think sometimes it's very expensive to travel and to be there and do those things. Yeah. So if we can help them not have to feel like our female creators have to go with men, was kind of nice. Yeah. I liked knowing that
Dan Bilzerian doesn't need to take you to Greece, baby.
I liked knowing that. Yeah, I liked knowing that we were empowering our creators to have that independence.
Yeah.
During expensive months of the year of traveling. That's
super cool. And that continues to add to the community aspect, right?
Yes.
Because now those community members go out and now they find out about you, and that's how the word starts spreading pretty quick.
Yeah, so we've already had creators apply in all of these places, and they're actively pursuing the opportunity. So it's, like I said, it's been very organic. It's been pop-up driven. We're not here to launch London and Mykonos and that full time, but seasonality. Seasonality for us was important to stay on trend and important to be. I wanted people to continuously open the app.
Yeah.
To see, like, oh, I'm here now. I'm in London. Oh, wow, there is something I can do here. So I think if I wouldn't have done that, it would have just still been limited to one place, and we would have lost a lot of our daily active users.
That is really super cool, though, that you could be part of a community that eventually you go places and shit, I'm in Greece. Is there money-making opportunities in Greece? Maybe this restaurant wants to have me or whatnot.
Yeah, we're actually taking a few influencers to Israel because we work directly with an organization in Israel that strives to bring US-based influencers to Israel for tourism purposes, to really showcase the food and the culture and how beautiful a country is. So I think that that'll be a big trend for us, especially after we finish the first showcase with Israel, that I think a lot of other like tourism bureaus and ministries will kind of see that value in that case study, I hope.
What has been like one of your proudest moments thus far? I know you're just starting out, and I know we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, but what really stands out to you that you really saw it and you're like, damn, you know, like we're getting somewhere, or like I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it, it's coming to life?
I think it goes back to the moment I told you about at Model Volleyball. I think that was my proudest moment, just because every day we see people applying to be on the platform, applying, getting accepted, like all that in the beginning, I think was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like this is such a little win, but it was such an exciting one. Yeah, it's alive. Like, like it's working. We did it. But I think to see people connect and almost be like proud to post about a very early platform.
Yeah.
Like to be so excited when they get accepted. I think that makes me feel proud that I did a good enough job that the response is feeling proud.
The thing is that when you log in and you see the opportunities, they're not like booty opportunities. Like,
right.
You know,
that's the DNA of the brand.
If it's a barter, it's a solid barter.
Right.
If it's a paid opportunity, it's like, damn, they're working with that brand. Like that's actually possible. Like, it makes it feel less like unobtainable in a sense, because you're making the unobtainable in a sense obtainable by allowing them to have these listings at their fingertips.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to access, right? That sometimes you can't put a price on access.
No. Sometimes access is better than cash.
I agree.
If not most of the time.
I totally agree.
You know, there are a lot of people, you know, you could give somebody two options here. Take this duffel bag with $1 million in cash, or this Rolodex full of people who know who you are now and could potentially owe you favors. You'd be surprised how many people pick the Rolodex.
I mean, I'm picking it every time.
Yeah. So. Oh, you have a solid contacts list.
Yeah.
You do.
Thank you.
But you've been doing it for some time.
Thank you. Yeah, this felt like a natural evolution of what we've already been doing. Like I said, like really kind of knowing that this was a business and we just made it automated, and tried to really decide how we're going to change the landscape of something that a lot of people did A right, a lot of people did B right, but did somebody do A, B, and C with the mindset of a problem solve? I don't think so. Yeah. So
categories.
Yes.
Right now we have restaurants.
So dining. Paid. Experiences. So experience could be anything from a facial. We're working with a great brand called Silver Mirror in Brickell.
Nice.
So it could be anything from facial, a Barry's boot camp class.
Yeah.
It could be going to Rolling Loud and having an experience at a concert. When we launched, we worked with the Miami Heat and did Heat games and,
I saw that.
And concerts.
Yep.
So an experience is something in real life that you can experience. We put up destinations, which we kind of just touched on.
Yep.
Mailers, so gifting. A lot of brands are super excited to send product for just a very organic introduction to their brand to influencers. So we have a mailers category, and that ships, globally, nationwide. So even if somebody in Atlanta got accepted now, they could probably tap into, mailers as a start if there wasn't anything in their market.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's something for everyone.
There's something for everyone. And then the last bit is nonprofit. So we have a partnership with Charity Buzz amongst a couple other local foundations. And the goal is that we hope influencers will choose to create their own experiences with Charity Buzz and put up an offering like, if you were the influencer and it was like, be on my podcast, but it's going to cost, the bid starts at $300 and then it goes up to $10,000, and then that $10,000 goes to the charity of your choice.
That's badass.
Yes. So we are hopefully, going to start seeing influencers choose to create opportunities via Mavn and Charity Buzz, that ultimately the Charity Buzz marketplace of existing, funders and people that bid on these types of opportunities will bid on that influencer's opportunity, and the money will go to their charity of choice.
The really cool thing there is what you're doing is you're tapping into the consumer's creativity.
Yeah.
Which is an outside in perspective. You have the inside out perspective and you know what kind of things you want for the company, but all these other people that are using your platform could think of a million things, which could then help you evolve the business in so many other ways with the help of people who are actually making money with you. That's true community.
Yeah, we haven't really taken flight on the nonprofit side yet, but it's something that is top of mind.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you shouldn't only be going to restaurants, like to post for restaurants. Like, why not do something that's going to give back to something that really needs your support?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not only charity buzz. Like maybe it's, going to a gala and posting on behalf of that foundation.
Yep.
Or maybe it's a nonprofit that can't afford a social media manager and they can go in and create content for them for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different ways that I hope our creators will give back.
How are you balancing all of this? Like,
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, you feel good though? Like,
yeah, I mean, thankfully a lot of
this is your third business, right?
It's my third business, yeah, and I think it's nice because I didn't start something completely different than the other two businesses.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of them
work together.
Yeah, they serve in support of each other. So I think if I said I'm gonna go do real estate now, probably
that would be left field.
Yeah, it would be super left field for me. But I think it was a natural progression as part of being an entrepreneur to have my own independent brand that was a utility.
Yeah.
And not just a service.
Yeah. It's easy to get shiny object syndrome. And in random shit. It's happened to me. I found myself like, why am I doing this? Like, oh my God, I need to get back to, but with you have O&Co, which is your marketing agency.
Yes.
Branding, social media content, influencers. You have Model Volleyball, which you lightly touched on now, which you mentioned that there was a Mavn team at Model Volleyball. Model Volleyball takes place once a year in Miami.
Yes.
You've done it in other cities.
We've done it in other cities, but Miami's home base for Model Volleyball right now.
I went to this last one. Oh, man.
You've been to a few.
Yeah. It was cool because, for example, we were backstage, VIP section, and you had some crazy people back there. Do
you remember who you saw?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I had a very great conversation with Lex Barrero. That was super cool because
one of my favorites.
We had a lot in common, and we hit it off there. We exchanged info, and we actually stayed in touch after, which is pretty cool. And he was close to, if not had already launched his Netflix show.
Yes.
La Firma on Netflix.
Yep.
That was pretty badass.
Yep.
I saw, wasn't Patrick Bet-David there? Valley Tainman was there.
Yeah, he was. They were a media partner of ours.
That was nuts. Yeah. And they had a whole ass I didn't even know what to call that thing. They had on the beach a container, like a mobile office.
It's an air conditioning mobile office for sure.
Yeah.
And they set up a room just like this.
Yeah. And the brand were really cool. You had an arm wrestling section. I arm wrestled this big ass dude.
Did you?
Whooped his ass. It was beautiful. Everybody was having a good time. There was music.
Yeah.
So, to get back to the point, you have your agency, which the app fits perfectly into because of your clients and, general deals that you're doing.
You don't need to be an agency client
to use Mavn.
But
you could be an agency client and be able to reap the benefits from Mavn.
Yes.
Or not even an agency client, but an agency partner who's an influencer who's previously worked with the agency and wants to.
Yeah, there's a lot of intertwines of how we position it, but again, it's an internal, platform. It's part of our tech to support brands. So
it's cool.
Ultimately, what we're doing.
That you have the physical aspect, right? You have the physical events. Then you have the marketing and administrative aspect, and then you have the tech aspect.
Right.
That trifecta is pretty solid.
Yeah, I always tell people we're a data company, we're a service provider.
Yeah.
And, there will be probably 10 more things that we get to do. We're really a utility. So we'll see what the future brings.
So you're actually going to be on the road soon. You're going to be traveling.
I am.
Where's life taking you?
I'm going to Israel.
Okay, Israel.
As part of our first trip with our influencers. I'm going to Petra in Jordan.
Oh my God.
I'm jelly. I'm going to see the pyramids in Egypt. And then the rest is TBD. And I'm not coming back till September.
So wherever you end up going, you're going.
Yeah, it's the first time that I'm just kind of going with the flow, and we'll have a couple little Mavn things that we do within Mykonos and Ibiza and a couple places that I'll go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, planning on just seeing new places and networking and being at hopefully the right place at the right time.
Being a business owner, every time I travel, it really does help. Seeing other perspectives, other cultures, how they do things.
Taking inspiration from all different cultures is big. Yeah.
You travel once a year, a long trip, right? Or
once a year, a long trip.
You did it last year, didn't you?
I did.
You usually go with friends?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm going with 2 friends.
That's so fun traveling with friends or even work colleagues.
Yeah. No, we're really looking forward to it. I mean, I'm going to get to see a couple wonders of the world. So
I've always been in love with Egyptian culture.
Have you been to Egypt?
No, I have not. I haven't had the opportunity to go. I almost went last year with Kevin Pimentel. Didn't get a chance to, and I have a group of friends that are going now in August, which I'm not going to have a chance to. But I'm waiting for the right moment. Maybe it's not the right moment for me to go.
For me, it was the right moment because, the anchor of the trip was starting in Israel through the partnership that we have.
Yeah.
So I knew being so close, I was like, this is it. I have to go to Egypt. And then I saw these videos popping up in my algorithm of Petra in Jordan. And I was like, this is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
It's mind-blowingly beautiful.
I was like, I have to go.
Yeah.
So they're all neighboring each other. So it just felt like the right time.
I could only imagine the content you're going to grab out there. You always have bomb shit.
We'll see.
Listen, where can we find Mavn? Where can people that are interested apply for Mavn? Like, what's the word?
Of course. So if you're a creator and you're listening or watching, I encourage you to download the app from the App Store. And by the way, it's not just Instagram. If you have a great Twitter following, you have a great TikTok following, you have a great Twitch following, we are not discriminating against any creator of any platform.
Right.
So want everyone to feel like they have their best shot at applying. So once you download and you apply, that's where we'll be able to take the first step for a creator to get on the platform. And then if you do make it on the platform, biggest tip is really to stay dialed in and continuously apply to things and not be discouraged, because we're just kind of making sure everybody's trying to get, participating in something.
Yeah.
So that,
and you're a baby too. It's a baby company.
Yeah,
you're doing so many great things, but there's still a lot more opportunities for people.
Exactly. So it's Mavn Creators, Mavn Creators. We dropped the E. And just
I like that you did.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, but the meaning behind Mavn is, if you're a maven, you're an expert or a connoisseur.
Yeah.
So you're a marketing maven.
Yeah.
You're a fashion maven. You're a fitness maven. So that was the undertone of the name. So Mavn Creators is also our Instagram handle. You want to check us out. We're constantly posting about all the new opportunities there as well. And if you're a brand, you can visit our website, mavncreators.com, and book a demo and hopefully get onboarded there.
Y'all heard it. This is super cool, y'all. I really wanted to have Olivia on here because more than anything, she's a friend. She's a partner. She's a colleague. She is somebody that I look up to a lot because of the things that she puts together, the people that she's able to bring together to collaborate. And you usually see how much people respect you and respect your businesses by the amount of support you receive when you launch a business or you launch a project. And I felt that it was the perfect time for us to talk about this because it's been about a year since you launched. You've done all these incredible things. You're about to go on this wonderful trip, and we owed it to each other to have this sit down. Olivia has been incredible for not just this podcast, because she's contributed a lot to this podcast, not just her being on it, but the people that she's been able to connect with us, and also for my agency. Our agencies work together. We do a lot of work together, and you haven't just heard it from me on this podcast. You guys have heard from Michelle on this podcast in regards to Olivia, Kevin, James. Everything is about community. And if there's anything that you should take away from this podcast, from this learning experience, is that it's very important to nurture and cultivate these relationships and do right by people, do good work, be impeccable with your word, because people will recognize that. And maybe you don't see results right away, but eventually you're going to see the results that you want because you do everything morally, you have good business ethics, and people ultimately trust you and gravitate towards your business the way they gravitate towards Olivia's. So you guys heard where you could find her. You guys heard where you could find Mavn. Also, if you're listening, make sure you go on the show notes of this episode. You'll be able to find everything that we talked about here. We're going to link it all. Or you could go to hustleinspirestustle.com/podcast and find this episode. You'll find it there. Or just check us out on social media. This is Alex Quin, Olivia Ormos. We'll see you guys on the next episode.